Have you ever thought about somebody and then the next minute you bump into them in the street, or possibly they call you on the telephone, or maybe you've been humming a song all day and then that song comes on the radio? My name is Phil from braindirection.com, and I'm going to tell you a couple of stories today, and I'd be interested to see if you think these are coincidences or whether you think maybe there's something else at hand. So the first story was, I was at college and I was studying computers at the time, and one of the guys I met there called Adrian was a drummer. In fact, he used to teach drums as well. Now, the reason why this is significant is because about 3 years later, after I'd left college, I was thinking of getting a band together, but I was having a lot of trouble finding a drummer in my hometown. You can always find plenty of guitarists, but drummers and bass players are very difficult. So I'd taken Adrian's phone number, so I thought, well, I'll give him a call. Now, I wasn't sure if the number would still be correct or whether he'd moved, but when I called, the phone was engaged. So I thought, okay, well, at least somebody's still there. So I put the phone down, I went back into my parents' living room. I was still living at home at the time, and literally about 10 or 15 seconds later, the phone started ringing. So I went back into the hall, picked up the phone, and his voice said, oh hi, is Phil Wheatley there? And I said, yeah, this is Phil speaking. And he said, oh hi, I don't know if you remember me, my name's Adrian, I used to go to college with you. And I said, yeah, I said, of course I remember you. I said, in fact, I was literally just trying to call you. I said, did you find out what the number was, or how come you're calling me? And he said, no, he said, I'm calling you because I'm getting married soon, and I wanted to know if you want to come along to my stag do. And I said, well, you're never going to believe this. I said, I was literally just trying to call you, but the phone was engaged because I was interested to see if you wanted to join my band. And what are the odds of that? I suppose if you get a calculator, you could probably work it out. If you work out how many seconds there are in 3 years, and then work out for us to pick up the phone at the same time. Because if you think about it, if I picked up the phone 10 seconds earlier and dialed the number, the phone would have made the connection before he picked it up at the other end to call me, and vice versa. So we were having to pick it up literally within the space of probably 5 seconds of each other, and then dial the number for it to then be engaged. Oh, I mean, back then I just thought, okay, well that's just a coincidence, what a crazy coincidence. But as you get older and these things happen more and more to you, and you think, well, what are the actual odds of that? Now another story, and there's many instances where the same thing has happened to me, but one particular instance was only about 6 months ago. I was walking to work, and for some reason, this guy who was a partner at a law firm that I used to work for, he just randomly popped into my head. I'd not given him a single thought since then, and this was about 9 years ago. And then about 3 minutes later, I turned the corner, and coming the other way around the corner of my office was this guy. And no, I didn't say to him, oh, I was just thinking about you, because that would probably sound a bit weird. And it just turned out that he was visiting a client, which is in an office not too far from where I work. Now, on one hand, you could argue, well, maybe that's not much of a coincidence, because he probably still works within a 3 to 5 mile radius of where I work. But what I think is strange is the fact that I was thinking about him literally minutes before he appeared. Now, my theory is, and this is where I'm interested in your opinion, is, I mean, it's proven that when you're thinking of things, and depending on what you're thinking about creates different brain patterns. You can stick those kind of nodes and you can see stuff happening on a monitor. So my theory is, it's more likely that because he was in a certain radius of me, I was somehow picking up on his thoughts or his brain patterns, or maybe just his vibration or something like that, and that's made me think about him. Thus, then it wasn't a huge coincidence when I bumped into him minutes later. Now, of course, if you speak to most people about this kind of thing, you start talking about vibration and stuff like that. I think most people will probably just think you're bonkers, you've lost the plot. Yet at the same time, it's perfectly normal to be able to send a text message within seconds to somebody who could be on completely the opposite side of the planet, or that there's a radio station somewhere thousands of miles away transmitting sound that somehow goes through the air and avoids all the other kind of stuff that's happening in the air, and then comes out of the speakers on your radio or on your phone or what have you. What do you think about my theory? Do you think that is plausible, or have you got another theory? I'd love to hear in the comments. And also, have you got any stories that are similar to this? I would love to hear those stories too. So please do put your comments in the comments. And if you do like this video, by the way, as usual, as people always say at the end of these things, please like, please subscribe. If you're interested in this kind of thing, there's a lot of things like this I'm going to be covering in the near future. So first of all, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.